Welcome back into another episode of Wednesdays at the Wink. I'm TJ Downing with the SMG Network, and we're here inside of the Washington Square Winking Lizards Season 2, Episode 3. We're joined by the men's rugby team. Yes, men's rugby team didn't have that last year because it was not available and offered on campus. We are right across the street from Walsh University, always here with the Walsh Cavaliers. Make sure to stay up to date on everything Walsh Cavaliers at athletics.walsh.edu. Make sure to download the Walsh Athletics mobile app. Go to Google Play, Apple Store, wherever you get your app. Stay up to date on scores, stats, schedules. Find out how you can purchase tickets, and make sure that you're coming out and supporting all Walsh Cavalier athletics teams throughout the fall, winter, into the spring. You know we'll be right here, so we appreciate you tuning in, catching us on all the different platforms, on the website, over on the YouTube channel. And again, shout out to our good friends here at the Washington Square Winking Lizard. All right, let's rip right into it. Men's rugby. Got the head coach here, Jason Fox. A lot to unpack, Coach. Literally unpacking. You come down here. First of all, congratulations on the national championship last year at Notre Dame College. We know, most know, that are in the know that the program shut down, sports shut down. And you guys end up here on the campus of Walsh University. And, man, I don't know if a lot of people would really understand the logistics that go into something like that. You and I had a chance to rap about it a little bit earlier, but how did this whole thing come about? How did you I know that everybody is excited here, from President Collins all the way down to the AD, to Greeny, to our girl Christina Payon. They do a phenomenal job, and I know that they welcomed you guys with open arms. Just tell us about how this whole process started.
Well, I was excited, obviously disappointed after winning a national championship to come back and find out that Notre Dame College is closing. But as, word got out, people that I knew from the area, Beth Ford left Notre Dame College to come down here to work. And just in passing, we were talking about it, and says, hey, kind of be cool for us to, come down and bring the team there, just kind of joking. Well, that kind of turned into something bigger, obviously. A couple weeks later, I'm getting a call from Christine saying, hey, we'd like you to come down and visit Walsh University. I had already visited Hiram. I was going up to visit Mercyhurst the next day after I came here. So Beth, met me along with the president and everybody, and really showed me around. And right away, I kind of fell in love with the campus. Similar, being a Catholic institution like Notre Dame College. I'm a St. Ed's kid. I'm a Catholic kid, so it fit kind of my personal liking. So I came back and presented it to the team. And at this point, they were being recruited by, Life University, some of the bigger names in the country. They were looking at other options because they had to. They had no horizon to look for. So
hard to imagine that on the backside of winning a national championship,
yeah.
right?
Well, yeah, and I felt bad for these guys. They worked hard in developing a team over the last 2-3 years. He had been with the program for 3, I'm going on 4 years now. So it was tough for me to see that happen. But I told him, hey, listen, here's the deal. If you want to stick together, I'm kind of putting some legwork in to look at different colleges and universities. And I told Christina and President Collins and Beth, they're interested in looking at it. So right away they sent up, this was, I think, Wednesday we had a meeting. That Friday they sent up bus and vans to pick up the whole team, both men and women, and bring them to campus. And when we got to campus, there was President Collins with his swords up and everybody going crazy. And
that's awesome.
And they were recruited like a D1 athlete, which, kind of almost brought tears to my eyes. So they kind of were, showing the campus. And I had set up a tour of Mercyhurst the following week. When I got back onto the bus to talk to him, and the president got on and said, swords up, and talked to the kids, the players, they, Remy and a couple other guys, raised their hands, coach, we don't even want to muddy the waters. This is our spot. We kind of like it here. So I was thrilled because that was kind of my first choice but I was letting them, make the choice. So they decided to start working towards a goal of moving the whole program here. Now, after that, logistically, you have trying to match money, how much you're paying, dormitories, where you're living, all that stuff has been, kind of tough. And it's been tough, coming in and having a new coach with Cornell Brits. He's doing a great job. And, trying to get back to where we were, I think is going to take a couple weeks, but I think we're going to get there. I think by playoff time, hopefully, I think we're going to, surprise a lot of people. We started off with this Sports Illustrated jinx of being ranked first in the nation right off the bat, at a new school. So that was, we got that out of the way. We'll work back on getting up there by the end of the season. So, but it's been a thrill for me to see these guys adapt, and I think it's going to be a life lesson for these guys on change, and some of them are going to have 2, 3, 4 jobs, going forward. They're going to have to know how to deal with, upheaval and things like that. And I think this is, one of those life lessons that's very important for the players to understand.
Remy Thomson joining us here. You are out of England. What was your recruiting process like? Do the guys over here, do they play rugby as tough as the guys over there?
It's a bit different culture,
Yeah.
especially from like England to here. Same with like Australia and other places that where like rugby is like a higher known sport than here. I mean, it's definitely one of the fastest growing sports in America, which we all love. But being like recruited here went through an agency called First Point USA, and they helped me push through. I transferred actually from Hartpury University in England, who are quite known for their rugby, and ended up going to NDC and had a few other offers, but NDC was the right pick, and obviously last year ended up being
National
a special
champs,
year.
man. That's pretty special. And so your first initial reaction, as Coach mentioned, you're one of the senior guys. You've been with him for a long time. And, I mean, to get that first memo, the first notice, the first contact of like, hey, program shutting down. We're just coming off a national championship. I mean, what is, for you and some of your guys in the locker room, I mean, what is that first initial reaction like?
It's tough. We came off such a big high, like especially coming from winning nationals, and then coming into spring semester, it was a rumor, and the boys were getting a bit worried, and there was a bit of like complacency from everyone, and we ended up like everyone being in a bit of a lower side of life, but it happens, it's normal. And then when we heard that we had the opportunity to stay together, and everyone's put their hands up, and we're all keen to be together and stay as like a brotherhood, and especially even with the women like staying together with us, it was like even better to stay as a big program on top of that.
So for you, and I know Coach mentioned a little bit this just earlier, that within moments, within hours of other programs around the country knowing that you guys were going to be shutting down. I mean, the phone calls start coming in like, hey, we got a spot for you here, we got a spot for you there. And I mean, that's got to be tough to know that some of you and your boys could be splitting up after what you guys just put together.
Yeah, it was a bit of a question thrown up in the air. Like no one knew if we were. Like, I've made like best mates here that I'm sure I'm going to keep with for the rest of my life.
No doubt. And
having the possibility of not seeing them like, every day and not playing rugby with them was definitely a hard.
So when Coach talked about it, President Collins getting on the bus, doing the swords up, I mean, instantly you guys all just kind of knew, right, that this was the landing spot. This is where you guys needed to be.
Yeah, it was an interesting way to bring us in. I mean, we love the energy.
He's a fun, high-energy guy.
No, we love him. And it's great that he was able to welcome us in. It's the same with all the other staff as well. We've all felt like extremely welcomed and helped, especially international-wise. It's a difficult transition from home to be away from family and other friends, and being able to be welcomed in and taken in with like international admissions and everything like that. It was all like an easy process that we got through.
Well, now everybody across the pond can catch you guys on the Great Midwest Digital Network every time you guys take the pitch, right, Coach? When you think about some of that energy, when you think about the program, when you think about being here on his beautiful campus, and getting to see the smile on these guys' faces, knowing that they get to stick together, but then ultimately, as you mentioned, you got to gear right back up into it. You're coming off a national championship up north, you get down here, and it's a new deal. But everybody's coming for you, right? Everybody knows what you have when you bring it. It's an interesting dynamic you've had to deal with.
Yeah, and week in and week out, we're playing against usually somebody that's won a national championship of some sort throughout the last 10 years. You know, we have Army and Navy coming to campus, and there's two, military academies. Both have won national championships. Life, we just came back from, Atlanta area. They've won a couple national championships. So week in and week out, for a small school like Walsh, we're playing with the big boys.
Yeah.
And I think that's one thing that they wanted to make sure was still part of the equation, that they wanted to play top-level rugby every week in and week out. So it's going to be tougher. I mean, last year maybe we're an unknown quantity, coming in and, tying Army at West Point and playing tough against Navy and playing, some great games. Having a loss and a tie going through the season, I think we surprised a lot of people. I think we're not a surprise anymore, even with new colors and a new name and everything like that. So, I'm excited. You learn more from losing than you do winning.
Yes,
so
you do.
I think our goal is to make the playoffs, and then we'll go from there. That's our second season. So it starts this Friday night, under the lights. Going to be on national TV and the Rugby Network. So we're excited about that. And then we'll go from there.
I can see you lighting up when Coach said that.
Yeah, we're keen to get going. We've two losses on the bounce, and we want to change something. So
yeah, that's exciting. Knowing that when you talk about feeling the lights on you, it's a national deal, and you guys are bringing a little bit of juice to the Walsh Cavaliers, man. Right? You're talking about. And we love the Great Midwest Athletic Conference. We love our NCAA Division II, but you guys are bringing some power heavy hitters to the table, and that's a pretty cool deal here for not only campus, for North Canton, for all the athletics, for everybody to kind of rally around. And one thing that you may not know yet, but I will tell you that the cool thing about Walsh University and athletics is that the other athletic teams, they get behind the other sports, they show up, and it really gives a nice vibe and energy and a feel to know that not only are your classmates, the student body, but the other varsity teams are out there supporting you, and that's got to be was pretty interesting for you and pretty difficult to. Tell us a little bit about your major. How does that stuff work? You're transferring credits. You're trying to stay on the same page and stay in course, literally, that you were up at Notre Dame College.
Yeah, I mean, I do sports management as my major. I'm glad that they took all my credits. It was what was the connection between? There was the Reach Teach Out.
Teach Out. Yeah, they had Teach Out with about 30 different, colleges and universities in the area. Actually, when we had the Teach Out at the school up north, they were all in the gymnasium. So there was Mercier's right across from Walsh. And now I'm trying to negotiate, just two things. So it was a little uncomfortable. But I think, they did a great job. And then even after the situation, coming to campus and making sure that we talked, and Beth and Rebecca and the admissions staff really did a bang-up job.
Yeah, it's a great university. There, we used to have a saying down there at Ohio State: you win with people. You can't do it all by yourself. You got to have great people. We got some other great people that we'll mention: Huntington Bank, Bell Stores, Cleveland Clinic, Mercy Hospital, BSN Sports, and the Sam Center, serving area military, giving back over 13,000 pounds of food to veteran families in need every first and third Friday of the month. Remember, get that Walsh Athletics mobile app, athletics.walsh.edu. You'll be able to check out everything that the men's rugby, women's rugby teams are doing. As Coach mentioned, it's going to be pretty fun here when you guys get a chance to bang under the lights. And just talk about that, these early matches where, again, you're changing colors, you're not surprising anybody, but you're trying to gear things back up and get rolling. So just tell us about how things have really kind of started off here in the fall.
Oh, it's been fantastic. When we played our first pre-season game against Thomas More, especially under the lights here, even if it was pouring down with rain, we had a huge crowd, and it was
awesome.
Great atmosphere, and it was incredible. I mean, even everyone expects us to be the winning team every week, and I think we can be. It's just this year we had a tough start, and we're gonna hopefully to this weekend take it back. And
there's some pressure involved with what you guys have gone through, right?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, we know there's a couple changes in the team. Not everyone. There's seniors that are left, and people who have changed schools. There's a couple boys who did move out, but at this point, it's how we adapt to it, and when we change this weekend, it will hopefully bring another level.
Yeah. Coach, your background in rugby, you mentioned started at St. Ed's, and really is from your early age, what kind of drew you to the sport? What kind of has been your passion and love for it?
Well, it doesn't look like it, but I was a track guy. I was a middle distance guy. I ate that guy. But I was a middle distance guy. I went to University of Houston with my wife, who was an All-American down in Houston. We went with Carl Lewis, some of the big names.
Damn.
So I was a big track guy up until my junior year, my sophomore year in college. Kept getting hurt, my knee, so I was looking for another outlet, tried to walk on the football team down in Houston. And if you're not from Texas, they're not going to look at you. So I found rugby one day and walked out and fell in love with it, started playing. Was able to play, through with the Cleveland Rovers and went on to play in sevens was my sport, the one that was in the Olympics that the women did so well. I was able to play sevens at a pretty high level. I was able to travel around the world. I coached a U.S. team for a stint one time. So then I started helped start the program with Matt Manerick at St. Ed's. And so I was there for 10 years, and then I started helping other programs, started with youth rugby and kind of morphed into more of an administrative kind of thing. Then that's when Notre Dame in 2012 called and said, hey, we'd like to start a program here. So we were kind of the first small school back in the day. Now you're seeing a lot of schools, Marion, Adrian, Wheeling, all these schools coming up that are doing what we did and what we're doing here at Walsh. Recruitment is key. Trying to get people on campus, and I think rugby, especially in the Northeast Ohio area with Canton, with Akron, with Cleveland, all the programs up there. On a Sunday, we have 1,000 kids playing kindergarten through 8th grade. We just hosted the first event we had here was a national championship, U16 national championship. So we had kids from all over the country coming to Walsh, and that was the first time Dr. Collins saw it, and he was like, this is pretty cool.
Yeah, for sure.
So I think rugby around, everyone talks about America being a sleeping giant. If we had, just think LeBron playing and, some of the other guys that, even the athletes that are starting to look at, things, not playing football, not playing basketball, but looking at lacrosse and rugby and other sports, So that was my background with rugby, fell in love with it. My wife puts up with it. No, actually, she loves rugby. She loves going to games and watching, and she's still, an athlete.
She's an athlete at heart.
Yes, she is.
Jason Fox, Remy Thomson joining us here on Wednesdays at the Wink, Washington Square, Winking Lizard. I'm TJ Downing with the SMG Network. Appreciate you joining us as always. Talk a little bit more about that recruitment and what we've seen, as you mentioned, some of these smaller universities starting to bring it in. How about some of these local high schools? We know that it's always been solid at Iggy, it's been solid at Ed's, and it's been built, and there's been the foundation there at a lot of the private boys schools. But what you may see around here, and I'll give a special shout out to Bull and Doug Higgins, and a salute to my guy, rest in heaven, Danny Sturts, some of the guys that were instrumental in wanting to get it into the high schools around this area. The Perry Panthers have done a phenomenal job with the program over there, men's and women's, and you talk about it coming all the way down to the youth, to having kindergartners out there. They've done the things over at the Hall of Fame Village, and we're going to have a chance to talk with Carlin Isles on Monday at the Pro Football Hall of Fame Luncheon Club when he joins us, and getting names behind it, getting passion, people that care about the sport behind it. How does this right here on campus affect what may be going on, as you mentioned, just in the Canton, Akron, Northeast Ohio area, high school-wise?
I mean, I think it's incredible that we are expanding outside of Cleveland area into Akron, into Canton, into the true Northeast Ohio. I played for years with the Rovers against Akron, against Canton, and we found, have some bonds and friendships that we've made. And coming down and seeing the guys again that are, retired, but now they're coaching and doing, giving back to the sport. it's brilliant, and I think it's really going to do well. We even have a Perry kid playing for us
Nice.
on the team, so we're excited about that, and hopefully we'll have more from the area coming up through the program, and we're going to be as supportive as we can if these guys want to go rep games for the youth and stuff that we've done for the other programs. We'll try to get involved that way too.
Yeah, and it really it allows almost like protect your home turf. You know, it gives another avenue for you to continue to just get more plays, more reps after. I always tell people, you know, it doesn't matter where you go to school at, where you go to college at. If you're blessed and fortunate enough after high school to still continue to play sports, you're one of the, we'll call it a one percenter, right? And for you, how about tell us a little bit about your history and love for this, and maybe some of the guys. I mean, like a two-time U.S. Olympian, Carlin Isles. Some of the guys that maybe you grew up idolizing and saying, you know what, I want to be like that guy.
Yeah, I mean, I started when I was young. I was 11 years old when I started playing rugby, and ended up like my dad played when he was younger, so he was someone I looked up to, and then he like showed me a rugby game. I was like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
And I ended up like Johnny Wilkinson, like the really big names in England, and like currently like Antoine Dupont is like a massive name in rugby, and I think there's big names I can look up to, and I'll just base my game off them and try and.
When you watch them, you kind of take little pieces like, okay, I take a little bit of this from Johnny, a little bit of this here, and when I take the field, you know, maybe I can kind of use a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and allow me to have some success.
Yeah, that's my aim. I'm just trying to be the best I can personally, and then be involved with the team as much as possible. And if I help other people, I help other people, and it's definitely something I want to try and do. But I think it's the same with other boys. Like, especially it's different here because, again, rugby is not the biggest thing, but it's getting there. And looking at sevens is huge, like Perry Baker, Carlin Isles. We had Marcus, who's like an alumni from NDC, and he's from our team, and he's like, he gets us involved with rugby as well, and we're all like a big community, which is really nice. Yeah,
well, hey, I know we're happy to have you here, man. I'm excited, Coach. What do you, when you think about Friday night? What's the message? What's the message to the guys right before? We'll call it about 3 or 4 or 5 minutes before you get ready to. Get it on.
Yeah, I think Coach Cornell Britz will have that. We'll have that discussion. I'll talk to him a little bit, prior to that. But I think at the end of the day, rugby is a sport that's you're on the field. The coach's job is done pretty much Friday. We even have a Friday captain's run. Coaches coach, players play, right? By that time, these guys are the ones playing, so they're going to take care of how they talk to each other and how to get ready. I mean, nothing I can say. The other coach to the guys on the field, but they know what they have to do, and our message throughout the week to each other is, okay, this is what we need to do. So 5 or 10 minutes before the game, they know. Yep. So I think, and Remy's a great leader. I think he leads his passion. You can see it, his calmness. He leads, by example. So obviously having a leader like Remy is key. Yeah. Those guys that you look up to. Well, I'll switch that question over to you. What's the message to the boys about 5 minutes before you get ready to rock and roll?
Just switch on, set the tone from the beginning.
Yep.
That's about it. We have a couple boys, we have split leadership throughout the group, and I'm not much of a talker myself. Yeah. But I try my best and show what's needed on the field. Lead by example, man. But apart from that, we got a couple boys who really can give that motivational speech and set
well, verbal assault, so to say. All right, man. Well, hey, we'll have the eyes on you. Coach,
thank you very much.
Appreciate you joining us, man.
I appreciate it.
We'll be back with more here. A couple more guys joining us. We're going to talk some more men's rugby. We'll talk the whole kind of season coming up here as we're here at the Wednesday at the Wink, right across the street from Walsh University, here on campus with the Walsh Cavaliers men's rugby team. Hang with us. We'll be back with more after this. Welcome back into Wednesdays at the Wink. TJ Downing here with the SMG Network. Again, we're still rocking some men's rugby here at the Washington Square Winking Lizard. Make sure to check these guys out Friday evening under the lights. You'll be able to catch everything that they're doing by going to athletics.walsh.edu. Get the Walsh Athletics mobile app, stay up to date on scores, Get your tickets, get your schedules, get the stats, everything you need to know. Walsh Athletics you can get by downloading the Walsh Athletics mobile app at Google Play or Apple Store. Now we're joined by Josh Groudle out of St. Ed's and Fraser Leslie from Australia. And before we even dig into it, Fraser, I got to tell you, we got to talk here for a second because Coach Jason Fox just mentioned some pretty rare and cool stuff that you and Remy got to be a part of. I believe was that one of your teammates that just came in here as well, who was a part of it. But I mean, we're talking 15s. We're talking 1924. This is kind of some epic stuff, man. Kind of break down that whole thing that Coach was just talking about there.
Me, Remy, and Tanner, we were lucky enough to get picked in the National Collegiate All-American team. We got to tour to France. It was for the memorial 100 years since Rugby 15s were in the Olympics. So that last game was between USA and France. So they decided to take a USA team over, and we versed Belgium, we versed French Army, and then we versed French unis. And we won all 3 games, which was pretty cool. It was a good experience, and France was pretty good in the summer, so good time.
I'll tell you what, man. You're like, damn, man, I can't believe I'm only a freshman. I missed France in the summertime, but you've got a pretty interesting story yourself. We're talking with you here. I got a chance to cover you last year in the big, what do they call it, Northeast Ohio versus America showcase when you guys took on, that was the Indiana State champ, Center Grove?
Center Grove.
And you were running the rock for St. Ed's. And what kind of really was your deciding factor to say, you know what, rugby is going to be it for me when I get to the collegiate level, and this is kind of where you're sitting now, and getting to be a part of something special here is you guys are laying the foundation for Walsh Rugby, which in the future, long time from now, and you're sitting in the rocking chair on the front porch or whatever, you'd be like, you know what, we were the first squad to line up and do it for Walsh.
So the thing that really brought me over to rugby, it was very new to me. My school offered it, and I went there originally to just do football and wrestling, and a few of the guys on the football team, they played rugby as well, and they were like, you should come out for the spring season since you're not really doing anything. And it was just a thing for me to just keep busy because I was doing stuff in the fall and winter, and I just fell in love with it. It was very refreshing, and football, it's very big over here, it can be stressful at times, and that's a big thing. I could just go out and play rugby and have a great time every single game, and that is really I wanted to do something I loved in college. And football, I loved it, but I saw really no future in it. While with rugby, it was just so refreshing, so new to me, that I could feel like I really had time to grow, and that's probably the biggest thing that won me over, just how fresh the sport is, especially with it not being big here.
Yeah.
It's just it offered me a platform, and I could do it in college. So I thought it was awesome that I could do something I loved so much that was so new to me at a school as beautiful as Walsh.
You didn't have to worry about my boy Tom Lombardo saying, all right, guys, got to win another state championship this year. Let's go ahead and line it up.
Nope, not at all.
Oh, man, that's good stuff, man. Interesting to me, and I know you guys have had some epic battles here over the last couple of years with the Massillon Tigers right down the street, but to see their linebackers coach, Spencer Lino, I'm very fond of how he coaches his linebackers, kind of using almost a rugby style or rugby tackling style to kind of eliminate some of the damage that defensive guys take from that impact, and almost talk about how some of the football stuff relates to rugby, how some of the rugby stuff relates to football, and how those can kind of, I think it's a great thing for high schools and football players to be out there in spring doing this. I think it makes you a better football player, right?
Mm-hmm. Most definitely. Well, some of the guys that got me out originally, they were linebackers, and there's definitely a huge difference technically wise when it comes to tackling. Rugby, you don't have a bunch of pads on,
right?
To
I think that's
tackle.
the thing that kind of scares people.
Yeah.
It makes people learn, damn, these guys got to be crazy.
Yeah,
doing what they do, no pads on.
Yeah, it forces you to tackle the proper way. Whereas football, you could just kind of lead with your head and just
Take a couple concussions here and there when you need to.
Hit a guy as hard as you can with no wrap. In rugby, you're forced to wrap or you're going to get carded.
Yeah.
And carding really hurts your team and hurts you as a player. And, it's a huge, chop tackling. It's so much more effective than, just, going straight into a guy. Because chop tackling, you just sweep the legs and then the guy's down.
Right.
And
it almost forces that guy back into the boundary, too. You're just kind of playing that outside leg.
Yeah, and it saves your body a lot, too, because you're not just, taking brute force on brute force all the time. So it definitely makes the game more safe. I feel like, me personally, I've been more injured in football than I ever have in rugby.
Yeah.
So I always like saying that to people because they're like, oh, you're not wearing any pads. I'm just like, I've been more injured in football than I ever have in rugby.
Yeah. Fraser, talk a little bit about your upbringing in the sport of rugby. What really kind of drew you to it? What, we sit here and we talk about, we obviously know what football is here in America and how rugby is, with the rugbies and the lacrosses are really starting to kind of thrive. But coming out of Australia, I mean, it's a hotbed for rugby, man. I mean, that's the thing to do, right? It's the popular sport. And, what was really the love and the passion that drew you to this game?
Well, obviously, being from Australia, it's huge. It's massive. Basically, when you're a kid, you get told, oh, play rugby. Your mates all play rugby. So basically, I've just been playing it since I've been 6 years old. I guess my dad got me and my brother into it, and bit of a competitiveness against each other. We wanted to be better, but I guess more getting older, it kind of drew me to it. I obviously like the contact, I like the physical game, but it's also, when you get deeper into rugby, it's a lot of a mind game. It's a lot of, I guess, like American football, like a lot of tactics, a lot of plays, but you really got to, when you get older, you really got to think about who you're versing and like how you want to play and stuff. But I really enjoy that side of the game, but I think going forward and being in America, I think when people understand that, they'll enjoy it and get really around it, which would be good, yeah.
So you got to tell your brothers, okay, listen, I think I'm going to have a couple up on you here. I got to compete on the All-American squad, and hey, man, congratulations,
Thank
national
you.
champions last year.
Pretty cool,
you got that.
Yeah.
Your first initial reaction, I got a chance to talk to Remy a little bit about this, when you find out that the program's shutting down. After you just win a national championship. Kind of hard to believe, right?
Yeah, it was pretty upsetting, I guess. It was a really big shock to everyone. Like, there was a little bit of whispers about it around Christmas time, but I was like, oh, we'll be fine. Like, won a national championship, school seems all right. Other sports are doing pretty decent. I was like, oh, it might just be a rumor, but when we finally heard about it was a big shock and a lot of uncertainty at the time, and if it wasn't for Foxy, I don't think we would all be here, and there was lots of other teams reaching out to lots of boys, so thank God for Foxy keeping us all together, and it's been good so far at Walsh. It's been unreal, actually. I've been really enjoying it.
Yeah, I think it's a really cool, it's a great story, how you guys can be the first to do this, to start this program, and shout out again to President Collins for seeing and understanding that, this thing is thriving and we want to bring it to campus. And I mean, what better crew to bring than, the national champs down from Notre Dame College, get somebody like you who is a star athlete at St. Ed's, and got to be pretty cool for you too, man. You're a Northeast Ohio guy, man. So you get to, as I talk to Coach Fox and I talk to Remy, it's like, you know what? You're a 1%er, right, man? Because you're one of the guys that, you played with a lot of guys in high school, whether it was wrestling, whether it was rugby, whether it was football, that after that last snap, after senior year, it's done. Sports, competitive sports, unless you're going to play some Y-League pickup basketball or something, I don't know, it's over. So for you, you're a 1%er where you're still getting to play sports, you're still involved in athletics at the collegiate level, and you're getting to do it in your backyard, man. That's got to be pretty cool. Your family can be involved, and in a beautiful little setting like this.
Yeah, it's pretty special to be so close. But unlike NDC, that was right in Cleveland.
Yeah.
I was around there all the time. Like, that wasn't as appealing to me as like Walsh. Walsh is so appealing because it's like it's close enough to home to where my family can come out, but it's also far enough away to where I can kind of be on my own, be my own person, which is very special. I'm very lucky that I live so close, because some of these international guys, they don't have that privilege that I have to get my family out to games and stuff, which is awesome to me. It's very cool to be in this situation. And, yeah, I mean, I'm very blessed to be here. It was very last second with me and my story. Like he said, like, they all kind of just, like, got up and left and moved here.
So your original recruitment was with Notre Dame?
No.
It wasn't. Okay.
No, it was so last
done
second.
at that point.
Yeah. So, like, Coach Britz, he coached it, Ed's a little bit. He just did a little bit of assistant work, and that's how I got my in. And, picked it up, never looked back, which is very awesome.
Yeah, Fraser, that's cool too. That I talked with Coach and Remy about the fact that you're live every time you step in between the lines on the Great Midwest Digital Network, and Friday night it's going to be a national deal. I mean, that's exciting to know that. Coach talked about it. Life is about change. Life is about how you adapt. We had our old thing was be like the dinosaurs, adapt or die, right? Yeah. And to be able to have that change, go from something that's such a low point that Remy talked about to now a real high point, but to also be able to have with that distance that you have. Your family, your friends, they can still watch you compete.
Yeah.
It's got to be pretty cool. You got to be pretty excited for what's coming up here.
Yeah, it's definitely, I'm pretty excited. It's a lot different from NDC. I don't really want to talk about NDC much anymore because we're Walsh now. But
Swords up, baby.
Yeah, I know, exactly. But no, it's so much better here at Walsh. So, like, facilities are better. So much easier to get help for classes, help for anything. Like, people are a lot more friendly. So things have been a lot easier and a lot better. And especially with games being filmed and stuff like that, it's easier for my family to watch and connect with me. So I've been really enjoying it so far, and I think everyone has been. So, yeah.
Talk about your schooling. What are you majoring in?
I'm doing sports management at the moment. Yeah, in my second year, I'm a sophomore at the moment. So
yeah, and and just kind of getting familiar and situated on campus. It's kind of your new home setting, man. It's and North Canton's a great, thriving area, and there's so much to do around here. And, we tell everybody, man, stop over to the Washington Square Winking Lizard, man, before the matches, before the games, before you're going over to Alumni Arena, whatever it may be. Make sure to stop out and patronize the Washington Square Winking Lizard, because we're always here for Wednesdays at the Wink. We had a chance to talk with cross country football last week. Got a really nice victory. Shout out to Coach Fank, 54-10 over Kentucky Wesleyan. We'll be here throughout the entire school year, and the one thing that is really cool about Walsh is the support that you get, and Remy talked about it. I mean, it was your guys' first preseason match, right? And you got pouring down rain, but people just kept showing up and packing the place. I mean, it's special to know when your student body comes out there to support something, especially when it's the first year. We kind of saw that a little bit with Walsh last year with the introduction of sprint football, and it's nice to have support, right? It's nice to feel like you're being recognized, and you guys should be recognized. I think you guys are doing something pretty cool.
Yeah, no, it was pretty cool. It was, I guess, a lot different from myself from last year, so it was pretty exciting, and I hope it continues, and I hope we can just keep showing Walsh that we're a good team to invest in and good people to invest in. So I hope things keep going well, and yeah.
Remy talked about obviously expectations. You guys aren't slouches to the game. I mean, you've been part of the All-American team. You're a national champion. But there's a target on your back that comes with that, right? What are the expectations in your mind for this year?
Well, obviously everyone's goal is to win it again, but we knew we've got a huge target on our back. I know, speaking to a lot of other players in France from other colleges, they didn't really care we won the national championship. They kind of cared that they want to beat us this year, and they want to be national champions. So I think it's keep finding that motivation every week, and kind of, I don't want to say forget that we won the national championship, but it's a new season, a new year, so I have to look forward to new things. So, yeah.
Are you one of those vocal leaders? Remy said he kind of leads a little bit more with his calmness, and that lets his play do the talking. But you one of the more vocal guys out there?
Depends really. Depends what type of situation.
So situational. There we go.
Yeah, I get fired up
when the guys need it.
Yeah, exactly. Got to pick the boys up sometimes. So it's been good. Yeah.
how has it been for you getting introduced to a whole lot of new guys? You know, I know it was for me when I first started playing college athletics, I looked for the guys that were from Stark County or for the guys that were from Canton, Akron area. You know, for you getting introduced to a lot of new different guys that aren't from North America, but the bonds and the friendships that you start to develop, even just being a first year guy. What's that been like for you, man? Kind of your introduction to a whole new group of cats.
I think it's, how do I put this? Like, I think that's probably the coolest part about coming here, is that rugby's not as developed in America or the U.S. as these other nations, and I've only been playing the sport for 3 years. I can learn so much about the game. So like I go to people like Fraser to learn, because they've been doing it. How like I played football. I've been playing football since I've been 5 years old. Like it's similar to that. Like to kind of compare it, it's like them coming over here to play football.
Yeah.
Like they have a ton of questions that they just started playing. And I could give them that. It's very similar in my situation. I've only been playing for 3 years, so I can go to them for a ton of stuff because it's so fresh and so new to me. And that's been probably the coolest part, and like all the cultures that are just here. Like there's guys from multiple different continents. It's so cool, and I think that separates rugby in the United States from every other sport. I think that's one of the main reasons why I came here to come to play.
Josh Groudle, Fraser, Leslie, joining us here on Wednesdays at the Wink. Special shout out to Huntington Bank, Bell Stores, Cleveland Clinic, Mercy Hospital, BSN Sports, and the Sam Center serving area military. All right, Fraser, before we get you out here to class, what's the I always like asking this to the competitors. I asked this to Remy, but he kind of deferred because he said he wasn't the vocal leader. But what's the message about 5 minutes before you get ready to rock and roll on Under the Lights, national type situation? Situational is here about 5 minutes before you guys get ready to rock and roll, man. What's your message as a leader of the group?
Oh, geez, I don't know. I think maybe just remember what we've done, stick to our structure, and remember everything that we've done all season's worked out for a reason. So, and keep calm, I guess. You need to keep calm in big moments.
Keep calm and get after some guys, right?
Yep.
All right, guys. Hey, appreciate you, Josh. Fraser, get after it. We'll continue to follow along with you guys. Everybody can catch everything you're doing at athletics.walsh.edu and downloading the Walsh Athletics mobile app. All right, guys, we'll be following you here Friday evening. Get it on, man. Have some fun and this entire season, man. First off, stay healthy, right? Yeah. Stay healthy. Get after it. Play hard, and keep doing it big. Keep doing it strong for Walsh University. Because I can tell you this, from everything that I hear from President Collins all the way down to the athletic department, everybody loves having you guys here. Everybody loves having Walsh Rugby. So something special that you guys are doing, man.
Yes,
Keep that right there. All right, TJ Downing for the SMG Network. We'll be back with more next week here at the Washington Square Winking Lizard. Appreciate everybody hanging with us here. And, hey, as always, man, swords up.
Swords up.
Later.
Thank you.